everyone, this is Wilmar Calaguas, and welcome to step two, which is systems. Run a system based business. And so, since we're in systems, which is step number two, a lot of the work that you've done in step one will make this process that much simpler and not necessarily easy, because there's a lot of strategy that really goes into the systems and understanding how we're going to implement all those things. And so you would pretty much just go back to step one in highlighting the systems that you currently have in your business, what you put down, and what you believe you need to improve as a business owner. If you're brand new, that's totally fine. I will show you a way that would be the simplest way for you to kind of understand systems, but also figure out what you need to start building as far as systems. And so before we move forward, I want to just explain a little bit what a system is. It is basically a method of going through a process to go from a task into a specific result that you want. And whether it's doing this one thing that will track this certain thing that you're actually trying to accomplish. And a system is a way you put a process together so that the system and its different parts get the outcome that you want. So let's go and dive into it right now. Here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the 7 core systems of any business that every business has or should have, and then we'll prioritize the 20% of core processes that make 80% of the difference in terms of profitability and also proficiency and productivity in the company. And then once we kind of figure those things out, then we need to apply the 80-20 to itself. Hence we get the 4 and 64 rule, that which will determine which systems that we need to implement first. And really it's just narrowing down the work that you did in step one and figuring out what systems that you have in place, and then narrowing down the top 5 that we need to work on first, that are substantial to establishing today, so that things will improve in radical ways in improving these systems, understanding its process, and also documenting how we're going to establish these systems moving forward. So let's go to the SDB Implementer 7-Step Process Handbook Guide and get started. Step 2, Business Systems. Run a system-based business. In this module, you will narrow down a list of priority core systems to build. Prioritize which 20% of the core process that will make 80% of the difference in profitability, and develop these systems first. Then apply the 4 and 64 rule to determine which one to start off with. So step 1, make a list of all the systems you want to develop. Okay, so there's a good chance that 20% of you that are in this program right now, there's 20% chance that you have systems in place, that they're well developed, and just really need the improvement of these systems. And maybe what you really need is, through our systemization strategy sessions that we'll have together, is really, going through them and seeing how we can make them better and more sufficient. And 20% will, of people here will fall into that category. Now, 80% on the other hand, most startups and companies don't have systems, processes, or documentation. Although all businesses have systems, and for the most part, it's inside the owner's mind or their employees, but it hasn't been put in place, meaning it hasn't been defined and how it's going to be, and then not documented in some form, written, video, audio, in some form, so that someone can take this system or this task and be able to complete it the way the company or its managers have deemed to be the process of getting the results that they want. And so let's just start off with looking at the 7 core things. And so, according to the 7-step process, the core 7 things can be found. And what you can do, you can go Systemize the Business, and this is going to be the home page. And on the home page, if you scroll down, these are the 7 core systems that a company must need. Although this is like the macro core, right? So it's the core, meaning that there's layers to these core 7, okay? So there's systems within these systems that I'm about to talk about. So if you're not familiar with systems, then this will be a good starting point. So just go on the website and then just scroll down to the middle. Well, you'll find the 7. And so the first one's going to be your CRM. So a CRM is a client relationship system, is a core where information is held about your customers, your interaction. We will need to customize your CRM to a particular industry or service. This process is the foundation of your systems, and we will build on it the tools you need to run each part of your business. Each action and piece of communication are recorded on one system, which is your CRM. You will see where each customer is in the process and turning them into a customer. So essentially, a CRM is really your capture system of all the information about your employees, your vendors, your partners, your essentially everything that you do in your business, sales, inventory, is all going to be connected to your foundation, which is your CRM. Assuming that you have chosen a very versatile, very robust type of CRM that is compatible with many different applications, and that you've chosen one that hopefully is from a company that has an enterprise suite so that everything's already integratable, but you just have to get those other applications so that you can execute the systems and the processes you have, for your business. So the first one is going to be a CRM. So this is just managing information. And so the second system you will need to figure out is your marketing system. Whichever way you decide to do marketing, we will assist in automating as much of your marketing plan by systemizing each tactic and strategy into a process that can be tracked plus measured. This step is where you define how you will attract, communicate, nurture, and convert your customers. We will help you implement um, every step of the system, fine tune its processes to provide a tool to document each part. Meaning, whatever you decide how you're going to market, we will find the tools so that you can track, measure, and also know where that customer is in your marketing process and system. And so, as you see here, tactic and strategy. So one thing with marketing is that many have a misconception of what marketing is. They think, what do you do for marketing? They say, oh, I do Facebook, I do Instagram, I do, Google AdWords, I do Google Ads. And so those things that I just mentioned are tactics, okay? It's not a marketing strategy. It's not a marketing strategy system, okay? Marketing strategy is understanding how you're going to capture and connect with a lead and the steps in between to get them as a paying customer or a client to work with you and use your services. So that is the strategy, and everything else kind of in between is kind of like the different tactics that makes up the whole strategy. And so that's a huge difference. That's a huge thing I think you need to know as far as marketing. So we'll put marketing. It's one of the systems. And then we get to the sales systems. Develop a business workflow model for your sales system for your business. Set up tracking to what stage your customer is currently on. Have certainty of what the next step is for them in your sales process. One tool we develop is your product and your service delivery process. The workflow gives explicit instructions to your team in what is next, and the customer has a framework on how working with your company would look. The expectations are evident on both sides, giving you full control of your process. Again, this sales system also involves, which you should have already finished, is your product and service delivery. That is part of the sales model. So since you've already done the bulk of that work in step one, and so this part is really figuring out what software you're going to use, what SaaS software, software as a service, you're going to use to basically monitor and make sure, and also assign maybe leads to different people depending on what kind of lead that comes in. So there's that sales process of who gets what, and then for them to know what to do with that client, and that's all well defined. So you as a business owner can log into your CRM that's connected to your sales software that would give you the indication that if you were to go to a particular client, ABC company, and the owner is, let's say, Bob, you would know where Bob and his company would be at your sales process, if they're still in negotiation, if they're still coming into their first meeting, or they need to be followed up. You can see that in real time with setting up the software so that you can see that in real time. So let's go back here. This is your sales system. And then we will go to our accounting. So your accounting system will be relatively it's very simple, but not easy to set up because there's many variations and there's many parts, from invoices to payables to all kinds of things that we have to track, expenses, and different programs that you're offering, and tracking which item or which services are being used, so you can track all of those things and set that up through your accounting setup allows you to control and track all your accounting services in one place, create and customize all your quotes, set up your transaction process from invoicing, payment process, and billing cycles. We will create a positive cash flow system cycle in your business. You do this by repositioning your offer to collect payment upfront and automating a simple process to receive payment without doing it manually. And so this is very important. One key thing I want to emphasize with accounting is that with strategizing that accounting system, you need to create a positive cash flow cycle in your business, meaning collecting payment up front and not on the back end when something is finished. And so you have to set the expectations from the beginning so that you're not the person trying to collect, which we all know that collecting money is not fun and chasing people for it. And so, that needs to be redefined so that your cash flow is coming in the beginning as you're progressing and doing the actual service or work. Right, so we have accounting. All right, the next one is customer service, which, that was a priority, with step one is really being customer centered, customer centric, and that the best way to grow a business is really focusing on your customers and how you can add the most value in every way possible. And so you have to have a customer care system or a support system in how you are going to cater to your clients. Organize and put in place a help center platform system or sometimes called a help ticketing desk for your customer and team. The system will ensure all the customer questions will be answered promptly and support requests is handled without delay, getting answers they need and managing them all in one place. Another way to decentralize this is to set up a knowledge base that provides information so the customer questions can find answers to their question on your website. And so in terms of customer service, there are many ways we can provide support and customer care to our clients. And so the two ways are centralized and decentralized ways of doing that. And we will really hone in what that looks like. And so decentralized is more focused on setting something up now, which takes work but will pay off later on, because once you set it up, then clients can access them without using resources or someone that will physically talk with them, but they will still get the help that they need and be satisfied with it. So it's more like decentralized. There's different methods to do that. And the other one is centralized, where you actually bring resources yourself that will give them the support and the service that they need to find and get the solutions that they need up front. So you need you need a balance of both, especially when you're scaling. So customer care support. All right. Next one is HR and your file management. Okay. So establish a filing system to organize and store all your templates, task checklists, employee forms, manuals, and necessary documentation for your business, all in a central location. You will have peace of mind knowing you and your team can access them from anywhere when you need them. Standardizing how you file documents creates a culture, organization, environment in your business. We will create a workflow for hiring and managing people for your company. And so this is kind of not one of the same, definitely different, but as far as file management, a lot of HR will have a lot of files that they collect, and there's a lot involved. So HR and file management. So essentially what we want to create is a system where anything and everything can be found by employees when they need it. And so everything is organized, everything is in one place, and everybody is continually participating in developing these files and documentation, and they continue to update them themselves. So we standardize a way so that as you continue to grow, these folders will grow with information that's needed as you continue to expand. And then also we will use a software to do that, as well as for the HR, that you will set this up according to what you need in your business and what you're tracking. So it's different for every business, but make sure with all of these systems that you're always picking the correct software and company that can cater to all these things, so that they can all be interweaved together and work together, and that essentially you go with a company that is all in one, so that you could literally look at each part of these systems all on one panel. Okay, and that's the key that you'll need. So you'll need to do some research. All right, so let's get to step number 2. Decide which systems you want to develop and systemize first. Make a list below. Remember the 80-20 and the 4 and 64 rule. Which system are you going to start first? So you can just essentially, just number these if you'd like. And looking at this, the first one for me, and it may not be for you, remember as we work together, it's about me understanding what you want to do with your business, what systems that you need, and I and our company will find the simplest way to execute that, the best way, and we will give you our recommendation. But if you decide that you want to go a different way, then if it's let's just say it's a software that you're already using and you love it, you don't want to change it, it's just too much work, you put a lot of time into it, then we will use what you have and find a way and a solution, a viable solution for you to keep that same software but integrate it with something else, so that you can still run your systems and run the processes based on the documentations that you've established for that system. And so again, this is your business and we're here to help you find solutions. All right, so I would start with the CRM first and customizing that, and then I would literally do these in the same order. I think I've really just systemized this whole thing, and when I created the business, that this would be essentially the order that I would go. Because once you have your CRM set up, You figure out what your marketing is. All these kind of interweave with each other. How you market is going to determine how your sales system is going to flow. And once you understand your sales and what you're going to charge and what you're going to offer, and then essentially you get to accounting, right, and figure out the pricing. You've already figured out the pricing in sales and all your packages, and then now you go to accounting. You essentially have all those numbers to input on there. And since you know the marketing, then you can just kind of connect the different parts together. So I would literally go in the same order as far as completing step 2. I'm not going to write it in. It's just going to be this, or you can go on the website and see the progression of how I would do it and how we would do it. All right, so step 3. Rewrite the list with the order you want to systemize first. Then write down the best way to systemize these systems. Write the tool and resources you need. All right, so let's just do CRM. How I will systemize this process. It's, for me, it's identify all parties, which just means is that I will figure out for my CRM all the people that I'm going to be putting into this client relationship management, all my relationship currently that I have. What are those vendors? What are those partners? What are those people that I will need to identify? And that's how I will systemize, this process as far as the CRM is identifying who will be inputted into the system. Now, the tools I will need for this process. And so this is where some research is going to be key, but also you're going to do a lot of research, so you can research best CRM for small businesses. Okay, there's some ads there, so there's all, you can click that, so you get a whole list. What you need to do is do some research, figure out comments, what are the reviews. So you're going to need to do some deep diving on what type of CRM. Okay, so there's 2 types of CRM that you need to look for. Is you have your CRM that's very customizable, meaning it already has the components you need to run really in any business, but it's also customizable to where you can curate like the fields. Everything is customizable to whatever it is you need to track and store as far as information. The other type of CRM is the industry-specific CRM. So let's just say, as you can see when I type this in, there's this one, best CRM for real estate. Okay. All right. So there's, Pipe Drive. I've heard of that before. So let's see, best real estate CRM, generate more leads. Okay. Base CRM. And so essentially what you would do is, let's just click this. Best CRM. And let's just go kind of look at, so you can read more about the different CRMs they do, and let's just choose one. Property base, best overall real estate agent looking for lead generation and nurture. Okay, let's take a look at that one. And let's find something else. I don't really like this one. I kind of want to know more before I give you my information. That's just me. Let's do Wise Agent and see what happens here. Okay, so this is actually better. So Wise Agent. So I can look through pricing. How much is it going to cost me? So let's see. Look, is this billed annually or 29 bucks a month? Or custom. So they have custom. It's going to cost you a little bit more if you want to customize it. And I want to look. Let's go to the home page. See what's here. It looks like they've worked with, the big people in real estate. And so it looks like you have contact management, lead automation, marketing, commission reports, which is good, landing pages, team features, time management, software tools. And so you kind of begin. Let's go look at the features. Let's see. Okay, marketing. What is it going to do for me as far as marketing? So as you can see, when you go to a industry specific, it's already catered to very specific things that you will already be doing. So it looks like real estate agents, marketing tools, one of the original still most used real estate flyer. So it looks like they have flyers that you can use to send, the people that in your CRM. Eventually you'll enter everybody that you have in your system where you currently store it now, or you don't have a system, it's just all on your phone. And so essentially they have already pre-made drip campaigns that are already real estate driven type of advertisement that you can start using. So they have stock templates, so that kind of helps you in addition to just having these just entering information to CRM. So it offers a lot of different features. And so based on all these things, once you go through them and then also looking to see if there's any reviews online regarding what the best thing, then essentially what you would do, again, everything is testing, so you would just start your 14-day trial, try it out, see if you like it, see if you like the interface, see if it's something that you see yourself using. And so it's all trial and error. And maybe what you can do is call, if you're a real estate agent or starting your own brokerage, then you can call maybe some local brokerage in your area and just ask them what they use, see if they like it, and do a little bit of market research on trying the best one to start with. And let's just say CRM. Let's see, which one is this one? Wise Agent. Okay. So let's just say I'm doing real estate. So we're going to use Wise Agent. Okay. All right, and then we'll just keep going through, the list that we have. Marketing. And how will I systemize this? By using SAS to capture leads and retarget. Okay. So how my goal in systemizing my marketing plan is that I will be able to capture the leads information, and then I want to be able to retarget them and re-advertise to them at a later time, is how I would systemize this process, especially with marketing. And so if I'm using Wise Agent, this already has a marketing campaign built into it. And so I may use, I keep forgetting the name, Wise Agent as part of my marketing tools that I need. But I would probably also use, looks like they have landing pages, so I will use, let's see, great red, okay, they have landing pages. So it looks like you may be able to create like landing pages, which is great. So I will use also Wise Agent, but then I will also use Perfect Audience. So Perfect Audience is that you create what's called a pixel, which basically tracks the people that go on that specific landing page or your website page. And what it does, it puts a pixel on their browser, and then through Perfect Audience I can retarget and basically follow them around with an ad that offers the services or the product that I am looking to sell them or having them as a client. Okay, so, and you would just go through, system number 3, your sales marketing, and again we'll go to the features again to see. It looks like they have lead automation and conversion, so I would look at what that means, the lead automation, how much automation I can do there. Again, this is based on really pinning down what you put down as far as a sales process, in step 1. And since that's clear to you how that's going to work, then you would research and try out this actual software to make sure that you can execute the processes that you've documented, for your sales process there. And again, it's just kind of like trial and error and making sure. And sometimes, this may not do what you want it to do, but it may have the capabilities of linking to other software and creating what they call an API, so that you can use another software and it would be compatible with, in this case, Wise Agent. And that's why, do some research and make sure you find one that is integratable with all the systems that you have and are putting in place. And then you go through accounting, customer service, and so again, you may need to subscribe eventually to other, SaaS, companies that offer the abilities to execute your systems and processes. So the main thing really for me, customization versus the industry specific software, is that you need to make sure that you go with a company that has all of the software capabilities to run all your business, or it's a CRM that it's compatible with everything else that you need to run your systems. So those are the 2 key things with systems. Again, step 2 may take a little bit of time to do your due diligence, do research, do testing, and really take advantage of the 14 day trial in terms of really figuring out the systems that you need for this particular systems that you need to figure out. All right, so there's going to be a lot of homework that you do here, but also specifically, this is a lot of what we covered today deals a lot with the technology part, which that is a step in the 7-step process. But I just want to go back and make sure that the systems that you are identifying here is really identifying what you've identified in step 1, and then just basically prioritizing the systems that need to be developed today, yesterday, for some of you in the business, and then the possible tools and software that you will potentially use to systemize those systems. All right. Only 4 things that matter when you systemize the business: systems, processes, documents, execution. Aside from closing sales, you will be tempted to do other things, but when it comes to systemization, your brain power has to be focused on these 4 parts: implementing systems you need today, figuring out its process, documenting them, and executing them. And so congratulations if you've completed this step 2. It is a huge step of finalizing and also prioritizing, and then doing some research on the actual technology. All right, that's it for step 2 in systems. I will see you on step 3.